Hi there folks, welcome to the Warrington Property Blog. In this week's article, I'm going to take a look at the 4 weeks post-lockdown. I'm going to look at the number of inquiries from tenants, landlords, vendors, homeowners, across the whole of the 4 weeks post-lockdown, across the whole market, not just with us. So we're going to take a deep, analytical and an objective, subjective view across the market and give you some feedback on what's gone on post-lockdown. I'm going to let my colleague Chris give you some more detail on that. Over to you, Chris.
So what have we learned in the first month post-lockdown? From talking to most of the Warrington estate and letting agents and our own findings, it might surprise you that new inquiries from home buyers, tenants, landlords and home sellers have been at record levels since lockdown was lifted from the property market in mid-May. There are a number of reasons for this. Firstly, we had the pent-up demand for Warrington property from the Boris bounce in January and February. Next, many Warrington people were planning to move this spring, yet were prevented doing so because of the lockdown. And finally, surprisingly, an advanced wave of home movers seeking to bring their Warrington moving plans forward because of fear of a second COVID-19 wave later in the year. Inquiries in letting and estate agencies are the beating heart of the property market. They are the ECG machine of the estate and letting agency. Of course, house price data has its place and is lauded by the national press as the bellwether of the property market. Yet it takes 6 to 9 months for the effects of what's happening today to show in those house price indexes, whilst these inquiries are what is happening right now. The numbers speak for themselves. So what is happening in the Warrington property market? Well, there is plenty of activity in the Warrington property market. Yet, that doesn't mean everything's back to normal. Inquiries are an important metric. Yet another way to judge the health of the property market is to look at the number of property transactions, i.e. people moving. Looking again at what is happening now, when I look at the number of properties for sale, 303 Warrington properties have come onto the market in the last 14 days alone. And of those, 49 are already sold, subject to contract. So, what of the future of post-lockdown Warrington housing? Well, a stern recession seems almost guaranteed. A housing market crash is not. Many newspapers are predicting property values to fall in 2020, then rise reticently from the ashes in 2021. The fact is, nobody knows. The property market is driven a lot by sentiment. Many of you Warrington people listening to me, especially you first-time buyers, have been putting off buying your first home because of Brexit. Now it's COVID-19, and in a few years it'll be something else. There will always be something else. And you could get to your 50s and 60s still renting, waiting for the next thing to pass, and before you buy and end up buying nothing. Nobody knows what the months or years ahead will bring. Yet what I do know is people will always need a place to live. Please let me know your comments. Tell us what your experiences are as a Warrington landlord or homeowner, tenant or buyer, so we can all learn from each other.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Chris. And folks, if you enjoyed the quick summary on this week's blog, click subscribe and follow and do all the usual social media stuff so you get notified next time we put a blog article out. Of course, if you need to speak to me, you can do. My name is Manoj Patel. I'm from Hamlet Homes, Warrington, and our telephone number is 01925 235 338. Our website, hamlethomeswarrington.co.uk.